RENARS PODCAST.
Today is a wonderful day because today I have my guest, Mr. Jon Behari. Did I say it right? Jon Behari? Behari.
Bacardi.
Jon Bakery.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Is that what it means?
Bahari. No, it doesn't mean Bahari.
Bakery.
Bakery. Or if you're American, Behari.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Well,
Bahari.
look, this little dance, we always start with like a little up to beat. Yeah. So. Whatever. Okay, John, how are you, buddy?
I'm all right.
High five.
How are you?
High five. John is my ice skating coach.
Hello.
Kind of, because we've done only like
when
5
you're visiting.
sessions. Yeah. And John is working here in the UK in Bracknell in a place called Ozone ice skating ring. And now you're a big boss there, aren't you?
I am head of skating. Yes, that's correct.
Head of skating.
Yeah.
Who's the neck?
Who's the neck?
Neck, not Nick.
Who's the neck?
You know, your head, there's a neck, come on.
Who's the head?
You the head, but
Yeah.
who is the neck?
The neck. All the team are the neck.
No, it's like in a relationship when it's his wife and a husband. The husband is a head and the wife is the neck. And wherever the neck turns, that's where the head is looking at.
Right.
So when trying to get out is like, who is more important than you in that company?
Head of skating.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
What head you are? Like you two heads? Too many heads, man. Oh, God.
Right. Okay.
So you are head of what?
Head of skating. So I basically bring in and develop the figure skating and the Learn to Skate program, which is the Skate UK program at Ozone Ice Rink.
Awesome. So who's the other head you mentioned?
Well, that's the owner is
Okay.
Danny.
Danny is the
Danny Myers,
the big head.
He is the owner and also basically the company owner.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Wonderful. We got over that painful...
So sorry, the neck.
That's fine. Well, listen, ice skating. Well, I think we could just talk straight away about ice skating. When it all started, when did you decide the first time, like, that's it, I watched the Blades of Glory, and now I'm going to do ice skating?
So I actually started quite late from skating. And that was because I was a swimmer and a gymnast before I was a skater.
Oh, really?
Yes. But I always, since I was a young lad, always wanted to try and skate, but
Yeah.
I didn't live near an ice rink. So I didn't actually get the opportunity until I was 13 to actually start skating.
So wait, the Blades of Glory came out later.
Oh, yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't Blades of Glory that was my inspiration.
But it was your favorite movie, and you were wearing a T-shirt with Will Ferrell.
I'm totally in love with it.
With that hair.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He was the bad guy, bad boy. And they were the backstory. Like he grew up with some local gang, and he would ice skate in the sewage or something under the city. Some weird stuff, like similar, like to Turtles. No, the Ninja Turtles,
Okay.
but on ice skates.
Yeah.
That was very interesting. Okay, so you thought about doing it, but that means you grew up in somewhere where they didn't have an ice rink. And where was that?
No, I was actually in London, but at the time, but Queensway was too far. I was too young to travel to Queensway by myself or anything like that. So, yeah, skating wasn't actually that popular back then. I am quite old.
Right.
I am like 50 this year.
I like how the way I didn't ask you how old are you. Like, why are you giving all that information to everyone? You should not tell people.
Why not?
Because you look
I look
30
good.
barely.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I look good for being 50.
So just living your lies. That's
yes.
fine.
Yeah.
But so what? Then no one would take you. Even would you say like your parents like, oh, could you get me to the ice skating ring? Or
They were too busy.
they were too busy.
Yeah. And school was very, very much. Like I said, I was swimming. So it was Saturday early mornings swimming, and also Tuesday after school. So that was the priority. I think we all got our own sport. So I was swimming. My brother was football. My sister was ballet at the time.
Oh wow! But everyone was like doing stuff. That's
Yeah, they were
that's
all doing
pretty cool.
stuff. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So the parents encourage you guys to have your things to do.
But that was the one sport, like swimming and then gymnastics.
So what happened with gymnastics when did your transition happen, or you did it at the same time?
So a swimmer first, then gymnastics, and gymnastics I started in the United States. So I've got quite a colourful background where although I was born and raised in London, when I was 10, the family moved across to the United States.
And the
So,
reason for that was
So family wanted a new challenge,
pretty cool.
and we had gone to the United States as many Christmases, and my parents seemed to have fallen in love with the States, so they decided, well, let's go give it a go because the kids love it.
but there's no relatives, nothing like that.
No, there was no relatives.
American dream. Brits wanted to live
American dream. Yeah, so we went to Florida, of all places. So yeah, St. Petersburg is where we were based.
St. Petersburg. What do you mean?
St. Petersburg, not Russia. St. Petersburg in Florida.
That's how you say it? St. Petersburg?
Yeah, St. Petersburg or St. Pete Beach.
St. Pete Beach. That's the one I know more, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So St. Petersburg is just basically west of Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, the reason why I'm like, I kind of know about it, because I almost went to study in Tampa.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was researching universities when I was still in Latvia. And then I realized there's no way I can afford that. So then I stopped thinking about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And then so the America back and forth, and gymnastics was there.
Yeah, so gymnastics was in the States. And then when I was 13, there's an ice rink in Clearwater in a shopping mall in Florida where I first stepped onto the rink.
Da, da, da.
Da, 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 da. And yeah.
Is that the sound when you stepped in an ice rink, or it was more like that?
It's definitely that.
Or like that? Yeah, we have that one as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And stepped on ice, and then immediately you're like, this is the thing.
Yeah, this is it.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
This is it. And quite a lot of skaters that have either swam or done gymnastics or trampolining or some other sport that has good core strength, they tend to learn the sport quite quickly. There's a lot of balance that you can bring across. That is the same.
Gymnastics especially.
Yeah, the rotational energy, things like that. There's quite a lot of crossover with that.
I don't think about, I'm not sure about swimming though.
No, well, so swimming obviously uses every muscle in the body, but skating can...
Because swimming also makes you quite stiff.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed, because like when I trained for the stunt register, one of the disciplines was swimming, and then the same time I was doing gymnastics or whatever. So every time I would swim more, I would go back to gymnastics. Like my splits would be shit. Like it's kind of, you get all stiffy.
Yep.
Not that stiffy, it's just stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's this stiffy. It's a very serious podcast, just so you know. Okay. And then gymnastics. Then gymnastics wasn't that long anyway. So it was like you were 13 years when you step on ice.
Yeah.
But then did you immediately? That's it, just ice skating, or you still would maintain doing gymnastics?
I was still maintain doing some gymnastics, using whether it's trampolining or floor routine, trampette stuff, and things like that. So yeah, so I kept it going alongside, but I didn't compete anymore. I wanted to actually just really concentrate
just
on
ice skating. And what do your parents say?
They loved it actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was something different.
Okay, and then ice skating. What was how did you find your coach right away? Did you just train for a bit, just how whatever, or someone noticed you and then they're like, okay.
Yeah, so at first I didn't have a coach. I used to just go to the public skate sessions and just watch the other skaters and mimicked them.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually left-handed. So usually as a left-handed skater, you would jump to the right-hand side because you use your left for your rotational energy. But because I didn't have a coach and I wasn't told that, the majority of skaters are right-handed, so they'll jump towards the left. So I actually, just through muscle memory, started actually jumping the opposite direction to what my natural rotation would be.
Right. Well, basically, we're just copying them.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. You're just mimicking them. It's like you want to.
And do you think you messed it up then?
No, not at all. No, because when you're learning something new, right, it's all about muscle memory. You're teaching that muscle and that rotational energy. You're doing that for the first time. Oh. So if you train it that way, you're going to actually become stronger that way. This is all about repetition.
Yeah, but it's still like if you have a dominant side is much better, then afterwards also it's easier probably to learn back to your good side.
Well, I wouldn't be able to do half the stuff to the right to what I do to my left now, even though I'm left-handed.
Really?
Yes.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah. So my spin rotation is actually going to the left.
So, but how we can explain that with from perspective? So, would it be better than if you would learn your left side?
So that's a really good question, because everybody will they'll have a dominant side, but that dominant side doesn't usually come to fruition until you start skating the more difficult elements. So you ask skaters to actually perform everything both ways to a certain level.
Right.
And then we'll ask the question, which way felt less awkward?
Right.
And which felt easier?
That's a weird one, because I would assume that they would only learn like straight away from beginning just one side.
Yeah.
But they don't.
No, they
cool.
don't.
That's very good.
That's really good, yeah. Because so any of the footwork that we do, we teach both feet, both directions. It's the spinning and the jumping. That's when we start to really home in on where your actual true, comfortable direction is.
So, and when you get to the high level, do you still would maintain the other side as well, or that's it? You would just go only
with your basic skating. Yes, your basic skating for multi-directional skating, you need to be able to do really, really well. So forward crossovers, backward crossovers, both directions, forwards and backwards, left and right. Because then your skating is balanced and it looks easier.
Because I'm just also thinking about other sports. Do they do that in a sense, like for example, football, right? Soccer.
Yep.
If your kicking leg is the right leg, how much do they kick with the left leg on precision or whatever?
Well,
because they would, they obviously they need to learn how to. Now football is very, very what's the word? Current. Yeah. Everyone's going crazy in the UK. But yeah, like I used to play football, but I would always kick only with the right foot if I'm going for the goal, right? And we wouldn't even practice the left leg for kicks. And then I'm just thinking about other sports like boxing as well. For example, it's going to be only southpaw or whatever other side called orthodox, and only in like when I do kickboxing. In kickboxing, they teach you switch stances, so you're proficient in both sides.
Right.
And boxing is only one side. Very rarely they do both sides, and that's considered to be very kind of interesting, but also sometimes good, because then you can do weird stuff, and your opponent is like gonna get freaked out.
Yeah. So most skaters will only choose one dominant way. However, some can jump both ways and triple both ways. There's the most difficult element at the moment is that's being performed in a championship is a quad axel. Most skating jumps and elements are designed by a person, and then the jump is then named after that person who's designed it or created it. So the axel jump was designed by a chap called Axel Poulsen, and each jump that is created, you start off with single rotation, then double, triple, and has now started quads. So
Which is insane.
Yeah, so the quad axel is actually 4.5 rotations. He takes off on a forward outside edge and lands on a backward outside edge.
That's just insane.
It is absolutely insane.
So this guy again, so what's this guy's name?
So this is Ilya Manolin.
Ilya Manolin, who has a very Russian name, but he represents America.
Yes.
Very interesting story. So similar like a Blades of Glory, they also adopted that child and took to the America, but he was from somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah.
He went to the monastery.
Yeah, that's it. And picked him up.
Such a bizarre story.
Yeah, it is a bizarre story.
But I mean, like this is what it's all about. The sports are keep pushing, keep developing, and I think one of the biggest ones as examples is someone who used to do gymnastics. You've probably seen how they compare gymnastics competitions, 30 years ago, 100 years ago. Okay, 100 years ago, it was crazy. So you just do like a front flip and it's like, that's competition. Now you do front twisty, blah, 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 blah. It's crazy.
Yes, yeah. So back in the 30s, 40s and 50s, people were already demonstrating single jumps and possibly a double jump.
Yeah.
And then the odd skater, I think the first triple axel was performed in 1956 or something like that. But it's taken 30 odd years before a quad axel. But they're already training 5 rotational jumps.
Okay, you went straight away to quad axel. What other? Let's pick 3 moves which you would consider are the most difficult to do. So number 1 would be the quad axel. It's the hardest.
Yeah.
What else? Should it be in the same video, or should we find another one?
Well, all of the quads are difficult. I would definitely say.
So okay. So the different type of quads.
Yeah, the different type of quads. But I would say if you're jumping in a combination, so you're joining 2 jumps together, the loop jump, whether it's double, triple, or quad loop, the quad loop is a very difficult jump to actually do after a
triple X or quadruple loop jump, figure skating. Okay, here you go. Let's find.
But the loop jump actually takes off from the same leg and lands on the same leg. Mm-hmm. Whereas other jumps, they actually take off, well, not all of the jumps, but the majority of other jumps actually take off from one foot and land on the next. So you're learning a flip jump where you're spotting with your right and landing on your right.
Are you actually talking about me, what I'm learning? I'm learning very cool stuff, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
So,
So the flip jump is the rotational jump, but then obviously for a gymnast or an acrobat, it's also a flip. Like a backflip. So when we start teaching skating and we say the word flip, usually the kids go, we're going to do a backflip. It's like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a couple things I want to talk about. Let's touch this subject about the backflipping.
Yeah.
I've been bugging Jon for a while now because I want to learn how to do a backflip. And so the story goes, the people who I met actually, there was one casting, I met one guy who can do backflips. I forgot his name now. And he said, like, if you can do backflip on the floor, then on ice it's even easier. Would you agree?
Totally.
I can't wait. We need to organize this. I basically need 2 people to spot me do
just
first
to get the feeling of it.
Yeah. And then about all this craziness, it's regarding, what was the girl's name who got
Soraya Bonley.
Soraya Bonley.
Yeah.
French girl, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And so she did the backflip, the first ever, right? And because she does the gymnastics, and she was doing gymnastics at the time.
Yes, exactly.
And she's like, oh, fuck it, I will do it on ice skates.
Yep.
And how did she learn? Like, she would just go and try? Would she have someone to spot? Like, she had a coach or whatever?
Yeah, so the backflips for ice skating have been done in ice shows for many, many years. So Robin Cousins, who's a British skater, former Olympian, or Olympic champion, should I say, he was the first skater to actually perform the backflip in a layout position rather than the tuck position.
Right.
Really, really impressive. And he also then, I believe, at the Calgary opening Olympic ceremony, he performed 2 layout backflips in a row during the opening ceremony of
2
the
layout
Olympic.
backflips in a row?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Which needed so much momentum, especially in between the 2.
Yeah.
And Robin Cousins, he is a tall chap for a skater.
Yeah.
And so that layout position is absolutely phenomenal to see. And the speed that he did them at was immense. So this is the technical competition. So as a professional, so after skaters have usually skated Olympics and Worlds, they get a chance to go into ice shows. And then there are a couple of professional competitions. And so this was obviously one of Robin's. So this is a double axel.
Boring.
Yeah. But the height.
We just saw quad axle. Like, what the hell?
But the height and length
matters.
And they've got 1.5 flip to double flip. And there's a double toe.
Easy.
And there's the double loop. So you'll see, obviously, his stature and the stretch. There's the sit spin as well. It's just the finishing and the finesse of everything. Everything is assured and presented well.
Yeah, I think one of the craziest ones is like people don't realize how hard it is to do ice skating in this kind of level.
Yeah.
Because most of the people have never really tried ice skating, and then if they've done it, they are the worst. They tried once and they're like, no, this is not for me, or whatever.
Yep. So we are always trying to, as skaters, we're always trying to look that we're in control of the blade and of our body. And I suppose we're all show-offs, really.
No wonder you became ice skating,
Yeah,
don't you? And no wonder I like ice skating.
yeah. But because of the speed and the strength that it's needed, I think that's what's really fun about it. It's something where there's so much energy that is needed and precision.
No, it's really cool. It's like almost you have the blades, but instead of having in your hands, you have them on your feet, and you're doing this whole madness.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Robin's now actually he's actually spinning the one way and now
Spinning the other way.
the other way like that. So he was one of the first skaters to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
So before him,
Yeah.
it was quite normal as it's just you do one way.
That's correct.
Wow. He
Yeah.
became the first versatile ice skater.
Yeah.
Okay, where's the backflip?
Yeah.
Is he getting ready?
So with skating, obviously, it's all about as well. You get chance to find your own style. So technique is obviously really, really important to actually do the jumps and the spins. But the free movement that you have, you get to choose the piece of music that you skate to. You choreograph it or be choreographed to a way that will suit your style.
Yeah, then you make your own outfits.
And you make your own.
For like 13 nights, you sit there and saw it. You choose the material.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an accident with outfit that it just like splits or something?
It's actually quite common. It is quite common for things to come off outfits and things. So here we goes the layout.
Hey,
There
the
we go.
backflip.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I will learn it. There's no doubt. Yeah, I straight away want to ask, like, what are the most common injuries for figure skaters?
It would have to be bruised knees. When you first start learning the more difficult technique of things, your toe pick can get in the way. So you will get a few bruised knees.
Right.
You'll then actually start, and I know this sounds really ridiculous, but you'll start to learn how to fall. And that muscle memory of being able to actually relax as you feel that sense of
It's so funny that you're telling to someone who literally makes money from falling.
Yeah.
You say like, oh, it's actually learn how to fall.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's a huge part of it.
it's a huge part of it.
Of course.
And it's mind over matter, right? There's a lot of people there that they're already a little bit worried that they're going to fall anyway. So they become hesitant when they're learning something. They don't want to fall, and because they don't want to hurt themselves, right?
Yeah.
Until you've experienced a fall and quite a few bad falls, you're going to have to learn how to live with it, really.
And also like you can use, padding as much as you can, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning. So we do have there's bum pads that skaters do wear to help protect certain muscle areas.
Bum pads.
Bum pads, yeah.
Yeah, those are basically, we call them the hip protectors.
Yeah.
So it's like usually it comes from ice hockey people. Ice hockey people use them the most.
Yeah.
And then like a lot of other industries just also adopt them.
Yeah.
And so obviously for ice skaters it's smaller, but sometimes you see someone's like, oh, their bum looks weird. Oh, because they have this whole padding around.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's mainly the hips. Hips is the craziest if you land on the sides.
Yeah.
And then there's, I think the stun guys use this protectors called the stun bumpers.
Okay.
It's like like a chicken fillets. We call them they're like a silicone ones.
Okay.
And I think we buy them from some ice skating people, from figure skaters.
Yep.
Because some of them also, they are like skin color. Because very often on a set when we need to do the fights, whatever, and we don't have a costume. So like when I was doing Gladiator, we had to, how to say that? We couldn't wear pads which is not skin color.
Right.
So you basically have these like kind of a skin color covers, and then you stick those
Underneath.
chicken thingies under.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But then on competitions, you would never wear pads.
No.
Is that forbidden?
I would say it would be frowned upon.
It would be frowned upon.
Yeah,
really.
it'd be frowned upon.
It would be so cool if someone just would go out with a massive bump pad.
So there are exhibition programs where people have taken it to the next extreme, and come out in, like, dare I say, fat suits,
just for a joke.
Just for a joke.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny to see, because to just.
But the best thing would be with someone who says, like, "Excuse me, you shouldn't be wearing the bun pad." And it's like, no, that's my ass. This is how my ass looks like.
You've got a fat ass.
Oh no, you cannot say the F word. Not the other one, but that one. It's so forbidden. You have very big bones, honey.
Yeah.
But figure skaters very rarely can be big. Have you seen anyone like competing and they're quite?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Let's get in trouble.
No. Yes, you skaters of all sizes,
but not high level though. Those could do quadruple axels. I don't think they can be like.
Well,
it's like looks like
okay. So you're going to
spaceship.
be able to you're going to be able to see. You'll see skaters who have a very, very good athletic build.
Yeah,
and you'll have some that are very, very slender, like really, really, really small. The athletic build skaters are obviously the stronger ones. Mm-hmm. So they're power skate. So you'll have one of the first American lady to perform a triple axel was Tonya Harding. Mm-hmm. So she's a very, very athletic person. Mm-hmm. Not overweight in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But the thighs and the it's athletic.
You're talking about like a CrossFit type of body.
Yeah. But you need that sort of athleticism.
Yeah. But what about the bigger ones? Are they well represented?
I would say now with social media, there is definitely a lot more that are more inclusive and also visual. So we can see an awful lot.
It's difficult not to see, right? Because it takes quite a lot of space.
Yeah. The thing is, skating is for everyone, right?
Of course it is.
Yeah, it is for everyone. But there are some skaters out there and as well as gymnasts, there's plenty of people that will look like you'd never believe that the agility is there to perform backflips. Yeah,
let's just blame the American food pyramid. That's about it.
Oh yeah, the fast food.
Exactly.
Fast food.
No. I'm not even talking about fast food. The pyramid, because for years they thought the most important stuff you need to eat bread and all that stuff, and then they are all processed and also jokes aside, like, I mean, I really struggle with unfortunately respecting people who have overweight, because what I say, like, you disrespecting your body. This is the only body you're given and you're not taking care of it, right? But in the same time, a lot of those people grow up, like, especially in America. It's not only America, it's all over the world. But they have been raised with this idea, this is good to eat, this is good to eat. So they messed up so much their bodies, then it's like, I don't even know how you can. I was one of those who was lucky, grew up having my own food from the garden, but how many people can say that? So, Okay. What about like more serious injuries? Did you not turn off your phone?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's my phone.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yes.
So my niece, she got to the quite high level. I think she was able to do like triple axel.
Okay.
And then she got a torn meniscus, and then she stopped. So now she does beach volleyball. But so talking about like what are the more serious injuries?
So, for instance, Robin, who you just saw do layout backflip, he's had to have knee surgery.
Yeah.
There are a lot of skaters out there that are in retirement and they've had to have knee replacements.
Yeah, and it's a constant pressure on your knees, obviously.
It is a constant pressure on the knees. Also ankles, there's all sorts of... The joints, it's difficult. It is really, really difficult. So I suppose there's... the longevity, how much further can the sport go without actually really, really injuring the human body? It's great that many people are trying to push the sport, but it's becoming, and I would say some people are saying it's becoming too top heavy about what's the most rotations I can do in the air and land, rather than it being the true nature of it being, an artistic
Yeah.
and physical sport. It's
that's-
the balance of the two.
Yeah,
right?
because that's what I want to straight away think about. Like, what are the main points when you get graded? So if you compete, you know, how big of a part of it it's the to get a good mark is like the athletic side of it and precision, and then like the artistic, how you actually, because it's a dance. It's literally a dance on ice, and that's why I so in love with the figure skating, because that's, as someone who used to be doing dancing quite a lot, and now I don't do that much. But when I'm on ice and I listen to music and I can move, and it's like, it's beautiful. It's just a very like just
It's freedom.
amazing. Yeah, it's a freedom. It's an amazing feeling. It's freedom as long as there's not many people on ice.
Yeah.
By the way, last time when I was in Ozone, I was like by myself. It was so cool.
I did see.
Yeah, I was kind of lonely, but it was cool.
Yeah.
I can do my thing.
So what happened was after the Salt Lake City Olympics, there was a whole controversy between judging. So the whole sport basically got reconfigured to be marked and judged differently. So now there is a score, and there are technical scores for the amount and the difficulty of the jump. So very similar to diving, where there's a grade of execution put on each element. There's a grade of execution that is put to each element that is performed on the rink. Depending whether you're doing a double, triple, or quad, the more rotation, the higher the tariff.
Yeah.
So you have a tariff. So you have a base mark and then a tariff depending on whether you're singling, doubling, tripling, or quadding.
What the hell is tariff?
So the tariff is, and this is where the sport has become very, very much a game of mathematics. So coaches are trying to gain as many points as possible, or calculate as many points possible for their skater to perform. And then it becomes a little bit of a jumping competition. And the artistic side of it, although it is judged, the artistic points aren't of the same level. So you have skaters who have the artistic freedom and skate absolutely beautifully to a program, and you can have marks out of 10 for doing skating skills. But because of all the other tariffs and jumps, those skaters might only be able to perform triple axel or maybe 2 of the quads out of 7 quads that are available to them. So straight away, anybody who's jumping the more difficult quads and the more of them,
They have advantage.
They have the advantage. So that's where there's a little bit of, and there are many skaters and even coaches, myself included, where it's great that there's the development of the sport is going in a direction where things are getting more and more difficult, but it is getting out of reach for many athletes to ever attain that. There may only be on this planet at the moment, whether it's practice, well, there's only one person who does it in competition at the moment is Ilya, is the quad axel. There might be only 3 more people around the whole planet that can actually even do it in practice. Now, that's just immense, right?
Right, but at the same time, like, you know, tough titty. Just train harder, learn how to do it. I don't know. I would say,
learn how to learn.
Obviously, the idea is like you know you want to be graded on the artistic side, like costumes, whatever the other stuff is.
Yeah.
But you know, it's in the end of the day, it's like what is all together, and then you can go to any discipline and say the same thing. Well, but our athletes cannot jump that high. I don't think that should be important in this part of the competition. But if someone can push those boundaries, but the question I think is more about how much more advantage those people who can do more athletic stuff should get over the artistic side.
Well, at the moment, the way that the marking system goes, if you're going to put 7 quads in your competition, you're going to win.
Oh, right.
If you land them correctly. It doesn't matter whether somebody... Yeah.
And that's a problem.
And that's the problem. And yeah.
Interesting.
And I think in all, I'm going to put my neck on the line, so to speak. I think that's where the sport of figure skating has lost its spectators worldwide, is because it's become too technical. Now, you've said, you've sat there as a skater yourself, or being able to skate and have a dance element to it, you have that freedom to be able to feel that that emotion that you do when you perform it.
Yeah.
There are people that watch skating, that when you watch like Robin's program just then, who will have that connection or feel moved by whether it's the music, the costume, and how it's performed, rather than it being a quad axle that's performed.
Yeah, that's a huge one, because a lot of people don't even see the difference between quad axle and triple axle.
No, exactly.
No one sees freaking difference. Only judges.
Only judges. So you have to have the critical eye to be able to, oh, well, that is, yes, it's a mean feat. Not going to take that away. Not going to take that away from that guy. You can't take it away.
That's interesting. Because we had a similar thing when we talked to some of the trickers when I used to train in East London gymnastics. So this one guy, his name is Matteo. He's the oldest tricker who can do triple cork on the floor, right? The oldest. He's like 42, 43 years old. And then he would say that to me. He says, like, you know what? Renars, when I post Italian, Renars, when I post triple axle, some people like. When I post double axle, everybody likes. And it's like, not the axle, but the cork, sorry.
Yeah.
And then for him straight away, it's like, that doesn't get appreciated. It gets appreciated from the industry. People who do that tricking, they would understand.
Yep.
And that's an interesting one, because you do, at the end, you do perform the ice skating for spectators, not for other ice skaters.
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
Yeah,
like the majority is going to be watching.
Yes.
Going to be the ones who want to see Blades of Glory when they just slide and do the scissors.
Yeah. So
I would like to watch that.
But that's where, especially in Canada and the United States, the figure skating was huge. You used to sell arenas, like 20,000 seats to watch an ice skating show. You're lucky to sell 5,000 tickets for competitions.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So, and who is to talk to? What has to be changed? Does the head has to be taken down?
Well, I think the International Skating Union, I believe in this last conference they've just had last month, they're going to try and make a few rule adjustments to make it more spectator friendly.
Yeah.
So, for instance, they have now allowed the backflip, even though the backflip is probably, well, it is very, very easy compared to doing a double axle or even single axle. A backflip, if you have the mechanic and the muscle memory to do it off ice, you're going to be able to do it on the ice.
You should get on the side, like get on the side and do a backflip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that. But it's also, what I was just thinking about, it's similar to, oh God, my thought. I just lost the thought about doing difficult stuff, which is, yeah. So about the Eurovision, for example, right?
Yeah.
Eurovision is where the show is everything. It's all about the show, how great it is. Singing, not so much.
Exactly.
So you see, here can be other way around. So if they're going to get to the point, earlier you mentioned the balance. So how to find that balance, that here's artistic, we have a show, it's great, but we have certain limitations, so the pyrotechnics doesn't come out of your ass or something like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Or like you have a peacock, you talk to the peacock as like Blades of Glory. But the performance is there, because like Eurovision is so political, blah, 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 and singing is like, you know. But people go and watch that weird shit. They like that, you know, the weirdness of it. I don't know, because ice skating in States is huge. Obviously, as a proof to that is Blades of Glory, like and how they talk. I actually need to watch that movie again. When was the last time you seen it?
It was maybe 18 months ago.
Well, you gave me your 3 favorite movies, and it was one. Blades of Glory was one.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Anyways, we can talk about this next segment. We're gonna have a little break now.
Blah, blah, blah. RENARS PODCAST.
We back.
Yeah.
So, when people do any kind of physical activities, they ask question, what does it do to my body? So we talked about injuries earlier, but what about like figure skating? What does it, what parts of your body does it train? So how much is it cardio? How much is actually like, obviously legs are the biggest ones, right? Women who do figure skating, they Legs look very nice. Just saying. Man, not so much. Not paying attention. I mean, you can see my legs. They're so beautiful. That's all ice skating. But upper body doesn't work much, does it?
No, not at all. Unless you're pair skating.
Oh. But if you do it dude stuff, well, girls just kind of hold to it. Guy does the lifting.
Yeah, it's all done with technique as well, obviously. But pair skating is by far the most difficult discipline for figure skating. Oh, yes.
Well, from figure skating?
Yeah, so you've got figure skating, which you can compete as a soloist.
Yeah.
Then you have pairs skating, which is like figure skating, but as a couple. Then you have ice dance, which is also couples. But you're not going to be throwing or lifting overhead. There's certain limitations that you. So
there's two types of coupled.
Yes, there's ice dance and there's pairs skating.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
because in the Blades of Glory they did the.
So they did pairs skating.
Yeah, because
so that's what did the throws and the lifting and stuff like that. Yeah,
they did the Lotus. What was it?
Yeah, the Iron Lotus.
The Iron Lotus.
Yeah,
is that a real thing?
No. but it's sort of mixed between two things. Yeah. It's a butterfly jump.
Right.
That's the one where the legs.
That's the one I do.
Yeah.
Butterfly.
Exactly.
We call it butterfly kick.
Yeah, you do 3 of them very, very well.
Yeah, I can 2 in a row. I can't do 3 in a row. And then I bend my legs. Doesn't look good. I need to work on it.
Yeah. But yeah, so the butterfly. So that's where they get that. Idea of
I
that.
can literally see that they cut the little hair on the neck.
Yeah. And then the other technique is that they use, if I can remember rightly, is the split twist or the lateral twist. So it's basically they've mixed up 2 and
Okay.
Yeah.
I think a lot of ice skaters probably were looking at it cringe, like what the hell.
Yeah, but I mean, do you know what? Even when they're just learning how to skate but practicing in the frozen meat locker yard or whatever like that, you can actually there are barns in the United States and Canada that have been flooded for their kids to learn how to.
I was doing door-to-door sales in Canada, in Saskatoon. Saskatoon is famous for their ice hockey madness, right? And almost every house would have their little rink. And kids, they can't walk, but they can skate. Yeah. It's so cute.
Yeah, born with skates on.
I love it. I had to go to my river, which was 200 meters away from my house, which is so far. And it would be frozen only 1 month a year. Yeah. But, my first time with ice skates, that was insane. My parents were just, what is the called word, naff about stuff, like when they just don't give a fuck about any sports, whatever. So I was begging my mom to get me ice skates. Nope, never gonna happen. And a friend of mine had his mom's ice skates, right? They're 4 sizes bigger for both of us. So we took probably all the socks we had at home, just put them on. And they're the super old school, leathery ones where it just goes all like this. Oh my God. But we were happy. We were like, oh my God, I'm moving, I'm riding. It was interesting. And then the other, this is probably my best story of the ice skating, was I somehow decided that to sharpen the skates, you need to make them like a knife.
All right.
So for those who are listening and never done ice skating, so how it works is you have the blade, and the blade basically has how you would explain, it's it has a hollow, like a bridge upside down, right? Yeah. The hollow. And you have 2 sharp edges. Yeah. So when you move on them, you kind of cut the ice, and if you just make a knife, it doesn't go anywhere.
No. So speed skate blades are the knife edge.
Are they?
Yes.
No.
Yes, they are.
Not totally.
Not totally, but they are
They're very thin. Yeah, but I made it like a knife. See, and then I went. Blades. Yeah, and I was so excited because I knew that it's gonna be I smashed it. I got on ice, went in the splits. That's where I learned my splits straight away on ice. Just ripped it. And then, oh shit. And then I took to the guy who does the proper blade stuff. And he's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? But that's how we learn. From our stupid mistakes. So fitness side of it, legs, What about cardio? Oh, and talking about cardio, how long are usually the routines when they perform?
Right. So depending on what level and age group that you're in. So at senior championship level, so what you see on TV or at the Olympics, the ladies are performing 4-minute program and the men are doing 4.5. Pairs skating and ice dance, it's up to 4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes. And then you have to have very good stamina. I mean, if you go ride like the way I train, you know, I'm not even close to whatever level. You know, I ride for like 3 minutes. I need a break because my legs hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but if they do tricks and tricks and tricks and tricks, that is a crazy stamina.
It really, really is. And the first thing is you learn the actual moves and the techniques. So you've got the jumps and the spins, and then you've got your linking steps on how to get from those spins and jumps.
Yeah.
Then you have your arm movements as well. And then you're learning to also breathe and mentally prepare for the next element. You have 7 or various amounts of elements, depending on what level that you're skating at, to perform. And once that music starts, you know full well, if you're doing that full run through, you are going to be panting and out of breath at the end of it. You know it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you fall or not. It doesn't matter how much you train. If you train at altitude, you'll come down from altitude with an even better fitness. So your aerobic fitness will be a lot better. So you do get a lot of skaters that during the off season or off competitive season, they try and train up at altitude. So they'll go up into the mountains and wherever. But you also have skaters who have the luxury of living and training up at high altitude. And when they come down to sea level to actually compete straight away, just their cardiovascular, just their breathing capacity.
I mean,
is
a lot of
better.
sports that does that. And they also have those hyper chambers, wherever they can sleep in, where the altitude and your, but everything is different.
So you have noticed, I would say, before the pandemic, you had some skaters that were starting to also train with the
oxygen mask,
not the oxygen mask, but the actual resistors. So it was actually the intake of oxygen was reduced.
That thing is huge now. You can buy it online. I mean, obviously it's not the one you meant, but I even bought it and I was just like, that's stupid. It's basically they have this kind of restrictors for you to breathe in.
Yeah.
But in the same time, I'm a huge believer that you should be inhaling through your nose instead of through your mouth.
Right.
Well,
so people had tried that. But then there was after the pandemic, there was many rinks, and it was by law that you had to actually train with a mask on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everyone's cardio went up.
Yeah. It's so even now you'll still visit some countries and you'll see them training in mask.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
sad. That's what it is.
Yeah, but then you can compete without a mask.
Yeah.
So
and then everyone sees your actual face like, no, put the mask back.
Yeah. But cardio is really, really important. So when you get to a level, championship level, when your coach turns around and said, we're doing run-throughs, the eyes roll and you know full well you're literally going to be beasted.
Right. And that's run-throughs just through your program or just doing whatever exercise?
No, it'll be going through your program.
Oh, okay.
And you'll be doing it back to back. At least twice, you might go into 3.
That's very normal. Like when I used to do Kung Fu, and for Kung Fu, we would need to do our forms. And I competed with forms as well. So obviously, if you can then do 4 or 5 forms in a row and you're still kind of more or less okay, then when the competition day comes in, you do that one form and it's like, you're so much better.
Yeah.
But also with ice skate, just with anything with athletics, if you are comfortable to do it again and again, then when the day comes, you're going to smash it. You know, you're not going to even think about that you are out of breath. You're just going to be thinking, did I land that move or was
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. So what would you say are the biggest benefits for ice skating for, let's say, the parents who are listening and they would like to have their kids to ice skate, and why kids should ice skate, even if they're not going to have that as a more high-level competition or high-level thing, just for themselves? What does that develop in a child?
It's definitely coordination, number one. fitness to a certain point as well, depending on what level that they're going to train to. Even when you're skating, you don't, even when you're doing the basics of skating, it doesn't feel like you're exercising because there's less resistance. Yes, you get, I would say you may maybe get mentally frustrated if you're learning something and it's not going well. So you can get mentally fatigued, but physically fatigued is actually quite difficult to get really tired skating quickly. So most public skating sessions, so even you're doing recreationally, most public skating sessions, an hour long?
Yeah.
That's an hour of exercise that most kids would not do if you're sat.
So it's like almost like having fun, not even noticing, but you're exercising.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
and
cool
then
thing.
there's the social aspect as well, especially with the public skating. If you've got a friend or you've gone to a birthday party, all sorts of things like that. The social skills that you get from, even if you just make friends whilst you're training, things like that. It helps.
My main trick is like I pretend that I don't know how to ski and just bump into people. Oh, please. Just choose the one. We used to play tag a lot.
Yeah.
Like as a kids, where I grew up in Latvia. Latvia is huge with ice skating because we have ice and we love ice hockey. And as a kid, I loved going to ice skating rink because, you just go play tag and it's a huge thing going on. But it was very crazy for me to see how in Latvia people, most of them skate pretty good. And then you go to different countries, they can't skate for shit. I mean, the huge one was like when I went to Indonesia, in Bali. Oh, you want to see some fun stuff? Go to ice skating ring. Watch how Indonesians are ice skating.
No balance.
No, well, balance one thing. The other thing, they just don't do it. That's it, Okay, those are the benefits of ice skating. And for grown-ups, why grown-ups should ice skate? Just to learn new skill?
Learn new skill. Also, just the social, just making friends with people that on an ice rink.
Just as shit as you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, it takes courage, number one, to go to a rink, right? Especially as an adult. You're usually very apprehensive that you're going to fall over and break a bone. So to mentally prepare to actually get over that initial fear, to put either rental skates or your own skates on, to step onto the rink and to start learning how to skate, that's a sense of achievement, right?
Yeah,
there's not many people, particularly parents, there's not many parents that have kids who skate that would want to have that experience. But we try, here at Ozone in particular, we do try and encourage as many adults as we can onto the rink.
And it's so amazing to see some elderly couples just learning and skate. It's so cute, and it's amazing when people do that.
It is. And, you'll see a skater who's like been skating maybe 18 months who've said, I never thought I'd be able to do crossovers, or I'd never thought I'd be able to even skate backwards or to spin or jump. And now they're actually doing spirals or arabesques or whichever sport that you, And they're just saying, I would never have thought of doing that. And they're also exercising at the same time, and they don't even really feel like it. A lot of people would say, especially if they might have been guided by their doctor, you need to go to the gym or you need to do some more walking or running or anything like that. A lot of skaters, particularly adults, have actually chosen skating. It's less strenuous on the joints, things like that, because there's less friction. So
even though if you go high level, there's going to be a lot of pressure on your knees because you do jumps. But if you don't do jumps...
No, if you don't do the jumps, yeah.
I totally agree. There's not much... You feel like hips mainly, that's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
But it's different kind of... And also like your feet, also you can get shin splints. So that's a different kind of muscle you don't really use. Because for me, to be fair, like before I started ice skating in Latvia, I started rollerblading. That was wasn't it first? No, I did ice skating first, but rollerblading was easier because, summer kind of more time and we can rollerblade and stuff. And I felt very special because I was the only child in my little town who had rollerblades. Oh, right. I was the cool kid.
Yeah.
That's what's up. No, it's the other thing what I really enjoy about ice skating that weird connection with this miracle of the nature, which is ice, and we just moving on it and floating in it, right? So I think some people kind of like maybe normalize it, takes like, oh, you know, whatever. But especially countries like England, you don't have your ice on lakes or whatever. Like people here should be like crazy about it. Like, oh my God, ice, miracle. Because we grew up, you know, we had ponds, lakes, rivers, you know, and oh my God, one of the most beautiful memories I ever had when we would be on the river, ice this thick, and it's transparent.
Yes.
And it's just perfect. There's no snow, nothing. It's transparent ice, and you just skate. And then if you're very lucky, you can see some fish on there, whatever. It's just amazing. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Have you done much like outdoor skating?
Yeah, I have in Canada.
In Canada, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where what places?
Lake Louise, Alberta.
In Alberta, Lake Louise. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was funny. My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he basically bought this equipment which is kind of torch, so blows the fire, because there was this ice was kind of like not very smooth, and the girls wanted to ice skate, and he went blowtorch all of it, and then it was
flambing.
Yeah, it just kind of
melts the.
Is that what it's called? Flambing.
Yeah, so flamby.
Flambing.
Flamby.
Just flamby.
Yeah, flamby.
Oh, look at you learning every day. Flamby. Yeah. Flamboyant. Is that from that one? I got a flamby. One other thing I see, like, there's not a lot of boys ice skating. Obviously, they would be more attracted to the hockey, right? Sometimes when I say to people, I figure skate, and they're like, "Oh, you mean ice skate?" No, I do. I learned figure skating as the tricks. And it's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, dude, it's hard, you know. And someone who comes from like ice skating, hockey playing background, and just to learn certain tricks, it's hard.
Yeah.
And do you think it has some kind of still stigma from back in the days, or not even a stigma? It's just like, oh, it's a girl's thing.
Yeah, it's very much so. I think it's very much, figure skating is just for girls, hockey's for boys, and it's not the case at all.
No.
There are plenty really, really good athletes, like with ballet dancers, right? There's plenty athletes out there.
Well, but with dancing, full stop. Like, there's always going to be. I was in my town. I was the one boy on like 30 girls who want to dance.
Yeah,
there's no boys who want to dance.
Yeah, and I think it could be because that it's not as cool as any of the other sports.
Probably, most likely.
It doesn't have the exposure to like football, cricket, tennis, or especially in the United Kingdom. It just doesn't have that exposure. You can't even watch it. Even the BBC won't broadcast a championship because there's not the audience for it, right?
Yeah.
So why spend that money broadcasting and securing rights to do that? So it's a difficult one. How do you get people into the rink, and how do you get that stereotyping of this is only for girls? You will get the odd skater that will just, go on a public skate session, and then they'll see the posters of the hockey lads and whatever like that, and they go, I want to do that.
Yeah. No, I think I'm asking a question, but the answer is very simple. Like, like that's how it's been, But now, great with the social media, sometimes you look up, people figure out how to do butterfly twists.
Yes.
And some cool kids, like boys, doing the cool stuff, which is butterfly twist. I will show a video. Yeah, I know how to do it on the floor. I kind of growing towards to learn how to do it on ice, but I'm still a bit afraid. So just like you do butterfly kick, but then you twist.
Yeah.
And
so
then
Ilya does butterfly kick at the end of his programs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Then things like backflips, things like there's so many cool things you can do with. I've seen mainly with hockey skates, like kind of it's different from figure skating tricks, right?
Yeah, but some of those tricksters or freestyle skaters, as they call them.
Oh yeah, here you go, freestyle skater. Yeah,
they are now beginning because they've seen Ilya doing stuff like that. They are now trying to do like axles or even double axles on hockey skates.
Well, you need someone like Ilya to influence them and to inspire them.
Yeah. So there's quite a few freestylers now that are helping make skating cool. Very much in Europe, during the public skating sessions, they're allowed to actually do those tricks. here in the United Kingdom, health and safety rules and all this, like, no, you can't do that. I mean, you're lucky to be able to spin on a public skate session without the ice marshal turning around saying, you can't do that on this.
God.
Yeah. Anyway, but yes, social media has definitely helped and is helping the development of new blood coming into, whether it be hockey or figure skating. Here at Ozone, we've managed to double the capacity or double the intake.
Well, since you joined, because you did such an amazing job.
Yeah, we've done. Yay!
Should you get a raise?
Yeah. So no, but we've done a really, really good job. But social media has helped with that. Yeah, it's good. It's a good place to, I think I really, really wish social media was a thing when I was a youngster, because I think the sport would be in a much, much healthier world, global.
But also now the question is about creating these kind of competitions. So in order to attract people who would be like freestyling, whatever, so you need freestyling competitions.
Yeah, so
you need to make sure that there are prizes, there are things like that. So
yeah, we do. So you'll see now ice shows now that whether it be Disney on Ice or Cirque du Soleil or anything like that, especially with Cirque, their ice shows, they have obviously pushed the limits, not just with the figure skating and aerial ballet and everything like that, but they've invited freestylers to then actually doing ramp stuff.
I was actually, that was 3-4 years ago when they were looking for people.
Yeah.
I was like, my friends were like, oh, you can ice skate, like you should maybe go for it.
So years ago, an ice skating show, oh no, it's just going to be, diamonds and, kick lines and all the pizzazz.
That's what, wait.
Yes, all of
like
that.
Yeah.
All the zing. The twinkle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it has, I hope skating becomes more and more popular.
Just like in general, like I think all the sports should be more represented and kids should more spend time doing this fun stuff instead of whatever they do.
Yeah.
How they spend their time. Costume splits. You earlier mentioned about costume splits. So, any fun costume splits in your performances?
Not for me.
Just seen someone else.
Yeah.
What they do, the Russian split.
Yeah. So the Russian split. Yeah, but no, if you've had a costume designer who knows what they're doing, you'll know full well that lycra is your friend.
Lycra, because it's
stretchy.
Flexible,
So as long as you've had a costume designer or somebody who's made the costume who knows what they're doing, rather than on the cheap where it's like, oh, let's just wear a shirt and try and do this. It's like, well, lifting up a shirt and trying to put a girl over your head, it's not going to work. You're going to literally split the seams and things like that. So there's learning curves. Usually, I would say from costume faux pas, it'll be things falling off of costumes. So whether it's diamantes or sequins and things like that, where it's just scratched off and things like that, and then you've got a trip hazard on the rink. Yeah.
And then you have to make sure it's cleaned.
Yeah.
So like if there's a little pearl fell down somewhere.
Yeah. So It does happen. Well, even Blades of Glory, she did that on purpose.
I know. That's what I was referring to. Yeah. She did that thing, that evil bitch. She wanted to hurt our boys. What countries, they used to even have like somewhere when they ice skate, it was like a mode of transportation because they would have like a river frozen and they would just ice skate from one side to another.
Yeah.
But where now with the global warming as well, like also like in Latvia, our winters are not as good anymore. Talking about competitions, which countries are leading right now? Like who are the biggest, strongest? Is it Russia, still America? Are those the ones?
So Russia is still banned from competing internationally.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What did they do?
Just look it up.
Just look it up. Google it.
Yeah. So China, Japan, Canada.
How is it possible? Japan?
States.
Japan do they have winters?
No, Japan have had an immense run of very, very, very talented skaters. federation there has put money into the sport since the early 80s.
Just as much as UK.
Look, more. Like more. Far
Did
more.
UK put any money in the ice skating?
Yes, they do. But actually, when it comes down to it, the governing body hasn't been able to get the funding or a large amount of funding towards it because the popularity of the sport isn't a spectator sport, and there's so many schematics and things that are needed for sponsorships and to make the sport like more sellable.
Yeah, can you imagine like just bunch of fans who usually go to watch football, they would go watch ice hockey?
Well, so that's the thing, right? If you had that many people,
Hockey.
but if you had that many
the
people,
trick.
there'd be more people skating and more money in the sport.
Yeah.
If you go to the States and Canada, the NHL, obviously, it's huge hockey league, immense amount of money for their professional players.
So would you say that in the countries where ice hockey is popular, that the figure skating is has more chance?
Yes.
Just because it's ice and it's skating?
Yeah. Because those ice rinks still need ice time, right? They still need to sell ice time. So it's not just hockey, it's figure skating. That's what Ozone do as well, in particular. You know,
How often you hear the romance stories between ice hockey player and a figure skater?
Very, very commonly. Like very, very
Really?
common. Yes.
Just like in that movie. There was a movie
Yeah.
where this
The
hockey...
Cutting Edge.
Was it?
Yeah,
Is it your
Cutting
favorite
Edge.
movie, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Right next
Don't
to...
pick-
That's what I thought you're going to be like, saying like the Blazing Glory. No,
Blades of
but-
Glory.
Blazing Glory.
Yeah.
It's Blazing Glory. No,
It's Blades of
no,
Glory.
it's Blazing Glory.
No, it's not.
It's whatever. Okay, yeah, I know Blades of Glory. Oh my God, I feel tired. I did I did a night shoot.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
No, it's not about
so
that.
the film is Blades of Glory.
I know. I just keep trying making joke because blazing sounds way cooler.
Does it?
Yeah,
Really?
And then there's
Does it?
what's the
But does it?
What's the name of that ice hockey guy with a girl? Cutting Edge.
Cutting Edge, yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other movies about ice skating?
Yeah, there's a Netflix series called Spinning Out.
Really?
Yes.
Is that any good?
Yes, very, very good.
Really, you love it?
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Did you binged it?
I did.
Of course you did.
Yeah, no, it was really well done. There's one that was filmed in the UK as well. I cannot remember the name of it, but there's a BBC drama as well that was done. I think
Drama. Is there a lot of drama in ice skating?
drama. There's always drama in skating.
Really?
Yeah,
About what?
everything.
Everything.
Yeah. So parents can be pushy. Kids can be cruel.
Oh shit.
So friends and friendships can come and go quite quickly, especially if somebody's competing at either a higher level or winning more or just finding things a little bit easier than the other. It can be, well, like any sport, right? Any sport can be, it has its moments where friendships do get a little bit strained. And you obviously get people who are passionate about it, and parents who spend an awful lot of money can also feel quite passionate about things, and they can also sometimes feel a little bit, well, why isn't
Yeah, my child. The
my
best of the
child?
best.
Yeah.
Speaking about the money, what are the prizes for competitions in ice skating
Right.
or
So
figure skating?
again, that's quite a new thing. Only at championship, like international championship level, have prize monies even been considered.
And that's
been in the last, maybe 7-8 years. From a national level, there's no money at all.
right.
Nothing.
So people who do ice skating, they got quite poor. Figure skating, I mean.
Well, there will be by the time that they've paid the ice time and the coaches and
No, of
the
course.
costuming. Then there's the test fees, and there's the competition fees, there's the overnight fees if you're having to go away. It's not a cheap sport.
And people do this mainly for their passion, not for the money.
I would say yes, it's definitely not for the money, because there's the monetary gain will be when you turn professional. If you choose it as a career, or if you go into skating shows and you get to perform the world.
Or you become a coach.
Yeah. So there's various avenues that you can go. You can either go the coaching route. You can go, although judging at the moment is volunteering, you don't get actually paid for that. So you'd have to have a job as well to sustain, to do the love of that. But you could go into skating shows around the world.
Here you go. This is answering partly the question, like why figure skating is not that popular.
Yeah.
You know, because people who want to choose that as a career, like they need to get paid.
Yeah.
So that's what's up. So yeah, do it just for fun. Okay, let's have another break.
Blah, blah, blah. RENARS PODCAST.
And we are back. So this is the fun part. The super fun part where we talk about movies, entertainment, other things that inspire in your life. So when I ask you about the books, she's like, I don't read. I was like, you never read a book? Jesus.
Yeah, I have read a book. Believe it or not, I've only read a couple. I'm dyslexic, so I actually find reading quite difficult.
Yeah, but you have no excuse now. There's audiobooks.
Yeah, okay, right. So audiobooks, there's plenty of things that you can do. But as a kid, I loved The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Absolutely loved that story. It's captured.
Is that the title of your sex tape? The Lion, the Witch, and the what?
The Wardrobe.
And the Wardrobe.
Yes.
So the Lion and the Witch in the wardrobe doing something.
Well, the Lion and the Witch are actually in the wardrobe. Yes, they are.
Wow.
In a magical land called Narnia.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm surprised you didn't star in it.
Yeah, I was the main guy. I was considered. They offered me.
You were
I turned
Aslan.
down. Yeah.
Aslan, the lion.
Books. So yeah. So dyslexic. Did your parents or your teachers figure that out, or they didn't?
They did. They realised there was something wrong.
Yeah.
It was difficult for me. I got frustrated an awful lot.
I can imagine. So the first thing you struggled just to read, right? So that's the first
right.
one.
Yeah, and then the writing was even worse. I'm left-handed as well, so lefties tend to smudge everything that they write as well. It was not a nice time. So once computers became a thing, I was at school before computers, right? So I'm quite old.
Like long time ago before computers arrived.
Yeah, before they were like a mainstream, like before they were in all schools.
So you're 10 years older than me. So when I got computers, I was probably 15, 16.
Yeah.
So that means,
So the first computer I really sat down and was able to sort of look at was a Tandy computer. We were in the States at the time. I was still 12, 13. And that's the first time I sort of knew what a word processor was.
Wow.
And MS-DOS.
So how did you graduate your high school and stuff?
Yeah.
Or you never did?
No, I did. I did. No, I did graduate. I did my I did my GCSEs and everything. I managed to have a lot of tuition, extracurricular tuition, or basically tutorship to help me through stuff. I only went through the basic level of mathematics because back then, I assume it's the same in schools now. You have different levels of ability, whether you're in the lower class, the mid class, or the higher class, depending on how brainy you are.
Yeah. So you were on the.
I was on the low bit,
the lower class.
Yeah, but that said, I truly believe that it created more resilience in life for me.
100%.
And I found other ways to actually conquer that.
To shine.
On
ice skates.
Yeah, on skates and also business. You know, I had to learn how to build websites. I had to learn how to use the computers and stuff like that. So I'm quite a methodical thinker. So as long as I've got my own time and I don't feel pressured into something, I'll sit there and yes, if I read a book, I have read a book, but it'll take me longer.
Right.
And when I feel that I'm getting a bit stressed with it, I'll just put it down.
That's probably a thing from the school, because in school they were like, "Come on, read it in front of everyone," and you couldn't read it.
And that's the thing. You were always literally. They said, right, you desk by desk. so-and-so's time to talk, so-and-so's time to recite this, so-and-so's time to do this. And then you stand up and have to deliver something from and it's not like you could just do it from your heart and just go and wing it. Let's face it, most people in life, when they talk sense, you're winging it because you know full well what you're talking about, genuinely.
Right.
If you really truly believe in what you're talking about, you'll learn it and you'll do it. If you're reading something from a paragraph that you have no interest in whatsoever, it's a struggle.
But also like the shyness concept of that's one of the only things I never had.
Yeah.
Shyness. So I could just go like, I imagine if we would be sitting next to each other, so you dyslexic and whatever, so you're going to struggle reading and you kind of think about, what other kids think and like, teacher going to be like, duh, just hurry up, whatever. Yeah. I would just go and blab anything and I wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So but also like, I think I'm partly dyslexic. Like never really looked into it. My writing, my reading was fine. Writing was horrible. Yeah. I couldn't get that done. But I think also that most of the people who are dyslexic, they very prevail in athletic side. Yep. Like their movement stuff is way different.
Yep.
Which is like, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I prefer that.
Exactly. Yeah, I prefer that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always found a way around it. I'm proud that I'm dyslexic. I'm proud that I'm dyslexic. But,
understand me.
But there are many, many successful people in this world who are dyslexic, who do really, really well.
But do you think there are more normal people out there who are successful than they're dyslexic? Just to compare, because they say there's a lot of dyslexic people who are very, successful.
Yeah.
But no one talks about all the successful people who are not dyslexic.
Yeah. I don't know because I'm not statistic.
Because everyone just think about Richard Brand. Yeah. No. He's dyslexic.
Yeah. I just think that I'm in all. I know it probably sounds really quite mean, but I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
No, because I had so much stress when I was younger because of that. I used to be very, very shy as a person. But at school, I would say, although I found it trouble reading, if I was trying to read a script for a play and I had to learn lines to a play, I actually liked doing that because I liked performing. I liked being in a school play. I liked singing in the school choir. And I could read the songs and the lyrics to sing the song because I was interested in doing it. But if somebody gave me a book of biology or whatever, unless I'm interested, I'm actually really interested in marine biology. So anything to do with orcas or dolphins or sharks. And if I was brainy enough, I would have wanted to be a marine biologist.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you still can do it.
Yeah.
You can still have it as a hobby.
And when I lived in Florida, we were on the seafront and everything like that. There's sea life there all the time.
Funny enough, in that seat, there's one of the stunt guys who actually developed a 360 camera for oceans and whatever. And I would have forgotten the name of it. It's something 360 bubble, whatever called, from South Africa. And he actually almost did help to do a documentary for Netflix, something about sea, oceans, and all that kind of stuff. There's a massive documentary, but they end up not using him.
Yeah.
And so we were discussing, because he's done a lot of scuba diving, underwater filming. So that was his main thing. And all sorts of creatures he's seen, which is the most dangerous and all that kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Can you feel the energy from that seat?
Yeah.
That was actually pretty cool. There's about 40 different people there giving their energy in that seat.
So, like I said, at the very beginning of today, I was a swimmer before anything else.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I'm a water sign as well, Piscean.
Do you believe in that shit?
Yes, I do to a certain point. Yeah, I do.
I think all the dyslexic left-handies do believe in that stuff.
I would say living where I'm currently living is the furthest I've been away from a natural body of water. And I have found that the most difficult in the last 18 months of being here. I have found that very, very difficult.
Brighton is your place, isn't it? For many different reasons.
Yeah. But that said, water and ice obviously it's frozen water.
Yeah.
So I do get my enjoyment out of coaching. I really, really do. I truly believe it is my calling. But if I wasn't doing that, it would definitely be something like marine biology. I'd be on the water somewhere. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I do have appeal to water as well for some reason. And some people, they don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some people are just absolutely scared of it. Just nightmares of it.
Okay, the books. So we had Lion and a Witch in the Closet, right? That was the one.
Yeah, flying back into the closet.
With your Narnia.
Yeah.
But then people. Elton John, oh my God.
Yeah.
Elton John is cool.
Yeah.
And I like so Elton John, I was lucky enough, I was working on his documentary, The Rocket Man.
Yeah.
I was one of the dancer stunt guys who gets beaten up, whatever. And he came over in the set. Really cool dude. Have you met him?
I've never met him.
How he said I haven't met this amazing
I know, because we've never been invited to do an ice show or anything like that.
Come on, Elton.
That is definitely one person that I would love to be able to meet.
What would you say? You see, this is the thing. What I always, not always, but I ask to myself. There's certain people, like I know Joe Rogan for me is a huge influence, and whatever he does, I would look at him not like, oh my God, celebrity. I just look at him like he inspires so many people to do right things. Almost, the things what I believe are very, very important. So if I would meet him, I would definitely talk. I have so many subjects to discuss, right?
Yeah.
But then there are people who say like, oh, that celebrity. What would you talk to that person? It's like, you would say that you're the biggest fan in the world. They heard that before.
Oh yeah.
So what would be the topics you would discuss with Elton John?
Okay. Well, I'm also a composer. Yeah.
Da, da, da.
Music is intricate to my life.
Oh, what instrument do you play?
I play piano.
You play piano? Yeah. I play guitar, baby.
Yeah.
I was playing a band.
I did play violin for a little bit, but my mum was like, you can stop doing that.
Wow. So do you still play piano then?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
super.
Yeah. So, yes, music is a very, very important part of my life.
For figure skaters, 100% music is what you do on the, it's huge.
So whether or not I'm creating music, whether I'm actually creating a program for a skater to a piece of music, whether I'm actually watching a movie and listening to the score and things like that. So the two people that I have there, musicians, right?
Yeah.
So what I would, if I was lucky enough to meet Elton, it would literally be something musically about it as to what had been inspired me to create a program to one of his tracks or things like that. It certainly wouldn't be, hey, I'm your number one fan or anything like that. It would be very, very much like, okay, well, you're a musician. That's been his life, right? There is more to that, to his life. Of 100%. Course there is.
Well, did you see the Rocket Man?
I did.
What did you think?
I thought it was, well, because I don't know him personally, so I don't know whether it's really as true as what it is. But from what I've read and what I believe, I believe that it was a very, very good representation of his life.
It's pretty crazy. Also, then his Rocket Man came out right after the Rhapsody.
Yeah.
And I do like Rhapsody more.
So
Rhapsody to me was one of the also like such an amazing movies.
So Rhapsody just knocked it totally out of the park. He was like spiritually him.
Yeah. We're talking about Bohemian Rhapsody about the Queens and about Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Very,
very well made.
I like what Freddie's dad was saying to him. Good deeds. Good, what was it? Do you remember? Well, there was a saying, good deeds makes a good man, something like that. But it's good stuff. And the other person with the music, Mr. Zimmerman. I looked
Zimmer. Hans Zimmer.
Really?
Did it also
Hans
correct?
Zimmer.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. Sounds Zimmerman better, I don't know why. So he was the one who is behind all these soundtracks for a lot of huge movies, like Gladiator and...
He's one of the many composers that have just reinvigorated new classical music. because you can call it classical music, but it's classical music. It's music played by orchestras rather than being classical music. So it's not Beethoven, it's not Mozart, but it's very much, it helps drive a story. Hans Zimmer will always, and most composers do, but Hans Zimmer has always said, whenever he starts with a single theme, it's all about, I need to tell a story and it needs to have an answer to that. You know, there's a question and there's an answer to that question.
And which film you would say like is your favorite soundtrack?
That's a difficult one. So from a Hans Zimmer score, I would have to say Gladiator, the original soundtrack.
Where he's touching the grass?
Yeah.
The grass.
I would have to say that was one of the groundbreaking moments that I really felt a score. Like really, really the whole movie was great, don't get me wrong, but the score really, really helped drive it. I also I love The Dark Knight. I love Christopher Nolan's stuff as well. There are so many. It's difficult to actually really do a favorite. In all honesty,
Gladiator, obviously,
even Broken Arrow. That's before Gladiator. So Broken Arrow was a really good. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. Maybe you've seen it. But Gladiator is like just a classic also because the Gladiators 2 trailer just came out. I made it. I'm there for 3 seconds. You can see me rowing a boat. It was funny because I could hear straight away like a backlash and critique that, it's never going to be as good as the first one. One of our stunt guys actually is riding a rhinoceros as like entering the freaking Colosseum. And some other stunt guy straight away posted, how dare they do this kind of stuff, like, you know, like rhinoceros, what's next? He's going to be on a freaking tank, like what's going on here? But obviously, like, you know, somewhere this story has to develop, something has to happen, like however director sees that. But also when we were shooting it, in Malta, there's a studio, I forgot the name of it, they would have a fountain performance and they would use that song where he is touching the crops before he dies or whatever, goes to the other world. And you sit and look at the fountain and behind it there's ocean and it's like, wow. And the music has such a power, it's insane. It's insane. Like for me, one of the biggest ones would be probably The Greatest Showman. Did you watch it?
So I had to say this to one of the skaters. So one of my skaters is actually skating to a track from Greatest Showman.
Which one? Which track? Not the which skater?
Skating to. I'm gonna have to. I don't want to sing it. No, I'm not going to sing it.
Sing it.
No, I'm not going to sing it.
Why not?
I'm not going to sing it.
It's bad. We cut it out. Come on, sing it.
No, I'm not going to sing it.
Oh.
It is though, because there's so many really good ones.
I have my ice skating. Here's my list, my ice skating tracks, and I will tell you the ones I have from Greatest Showman: A Million Dreams, Come Alive, Rewrite the Stars.
No, it was. So I've had a skater skate to.
This Is Me.
So I've had a skater already skate to A Million. Rewrite the Stars.
Yeah.
But it's A Million Dreams that she's skating to. And I had to come clean. I've never actually watched The Greatest Showman.
How dare you? Wait, where's the bad noise? Oh my God. So disappointed.
Yeah. And I think I've not watched it because I've heard the tracks from the soundtrack so many times in an ice rink.
So you're going to puke.
And I just felt like I don't think I can sit through that.
Come on. No, you're going to need to watch it. It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
I like it. And Hugh Jackman, he's a doll.
See, Hugh Jackman is one of my favorite actors. So I don't know why I've not watched it.
Listen, like the whole thing around that as far as I understand, his thing is musicals.
Yes.
So he started as a musical guy, right? And then obviously like with X-Men and him being a Wolverine, shit changed, right?
Yeah.
But it was his child. Like he was so happy to be part of it. And I think when you watch some of his videos on YouTube, there's a video where he's watching how they're rehearsing for the whatever, and he's just crying there. And like he had some kind of a voice cord infection, whatever, he couldn't sing, and he still was like going for it, fuck it.
Yeah. So I think I've seen that one on YouTube as well, where it's like a rehearsal.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like he just like fuck it.
Yeah.
Beep, beep.
Yeah. And and then the third person, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
From composers to the inventor of travel to Mars.
Yeah.
Or the Teslas and stuff.
Yeah. Because he has had so many doubters and has believed in everything that he has done, and he has worked and worked and worked and worked, and things are beginning to pay off. SpaceX. SpaceX was on the verge of not being SpaceX at one point. And now it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible.
What's SpaceX?
So
I thought you were talking about like Twitter and now it's X.
Yeah.
I was are they calling it SpaceX now?
No. So X is obviously Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter.
I thought you were going to say you love him because you had some weird shit on your Twitter, and then because he took it over, and then it's disappeared now. Or they blocked you, and now you're back. And he's finally I can be on Twitter again.
No. I'm very, very much... I don't know. This is going to sound really quite deep, actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There are people on this world that... Yeah. There are people on this world that probably feel like they don't belong to this world.
And you're one of them.
And I think I'm one of them.
She should be Manta Raya.
Yeah. I just feel...
Octopus.
Yeah. I just feel like I don't know if this was a place that I'm really supposed to be. I don't know. I spoke to you briefly before we started this, as the, like sense of abandonment and things like that. It could be something like that. I don't know.
Do you want to talk about it?
Can do.
Yeah. Okay. If you're fine with that.
Yeah.
So, today John told me about that. He's adopted. And you found out about it only recently. No, you knew that you adopted, but you just found out about your parents, or is it some kind of a detail about your mom?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it's only in the last few years, not even that I got to see my birth certificate.
And then what's your real name, or what was your given name?
Yeah, what my given name was.
And it was Maximus Aurelius Decimus.
So I feel I've always known that I've always known. When I was old enough to understand that I was adopted or special.
Yeah.
To have
special?
parents. Yeah, I'm still special. So I've understood that for a long, long time. But there's always that curiosity as to where, why, how. It's a sense, it's a sense where you feel there's something a part of your life that you're never going to really truly understand.
And what is that? What would you not understand?
Well, I don't understand the reasoning why.
The why,
The why I was put up for adoption.
Yeah.
The reasoning why. Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? Was it enforced? There's been a lot of attention in the last couple of years now, where in the 60s and 70s and even 80s to some point, where there was enforced adoptions, where mothers were basically giving birth and their child was taken away from them, enforced, like never saw their son or their daughter again.
But what would be the reason for that? Why would it be enforced?
So there's a huge scandal going on about as to different healthcare areas that had people come in and take babies from mothers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's quite deep, and that really sort of resonates with me. I was in that sort of I am in that age group where potentially it could have been an enforced adoption.
But that's not fault of your foster parents.
No. Well, I mean, the parents who have brought me up have, if they've known or had known, they've never told me.
Wow.
So I don't know whether or not they do actually know, because I genuinely think, so my adopted mum, or my mum, who I would call my mum, she passed when I was 15. So so that was a long time ago, and we never had that conversation where I could really ask her.
And your dad's never going to tell you.
No, I don't think my dad will, but because it took, like I can say, just a few years ago when my dad actually came up. I was visiting him at the time, and he came and said, "Oh, I think it's about time that you saw these."
So what do you think it would be his reasoning for not being transparent about all this?
I think he's there to try and protect me,
right,
for something.
Which is probably understandable.
I'm sure it comes from a place of love rather than anything. It has to.
Yeah.
But curiosity will always get. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult because you do feel why.
Well, it's interesting, like because earlier I said in the kitchen like that my sister was keep doing this weird shit with me, that she would try to convince me that I'm not her brother, right? And then it's so weird that we kind of talking about this now, but at the time I just was kind of, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, so what if those are not my real parents?
Yeah.
What if you are not my sister? We just kind of here and we try to survive.
Yeah.
And then from very early age, I was like, I don't really give a fuck where I'm from.
Yeah.
And then also that's why when I moved away from Latvia, went to Canada, and now when I talk to people about, you're Latvian, you do this, it doesn't really matter where I'm from. Like, it's more about like what the fuck I want to do with my life, where I want to go, and this is my identity. I decide my identity. I do struggle with also the idea like, where do I belong? So do I belong now in UK? Do I belong now in Bali? Do I belong in Latvia? Do I belong whatever? But I think I belong there where I feel comfortable, where I'm surrounded by people who love me and people who I can have fun, and I feel like that's the place.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone should do that. Like I struggle with this idea, patriot, you should be patriot to your, like, it's just a geographical stupid location where you were born or whatever the fuck you came from. But it's like, that should dictate anything for your future.
No, at all.
And we are so lucky being in these countries where we can travel, we can get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
What is the people where like, that's it, that's all you got?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to do that. I've lived in the States. I've lived here.
Yeah.
I do feel free as a bird. I've lived in Scotland for many years and now back in England. Yeah. So I'm very much, I'm here for the challenge. I'm here to live.
But it is interesting. I do agree. Like, for you to think about like why, and that, like, all those things. And question is that I would be happy to find out, just to have some kind of closure, to have some kind of like the peace of mind, I guess.
I think that's it. I think it's the closure. I think it's the closure, and I think, the older I get, I know full well that there's going to be no chance or little chance of ever knowing. So that does sort of sit with me a little bit. But then I do use things like music or skating to escape those, I wouldn't say they're dark feelings or anything like that. They just feel a little bit, sometimes you feel just sorry. You just feel a little bit sad.
Yeah. And then someone like you comes over and is like, say, like, strap up a bit and stop being a bitch.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy how we just forget like how lucky we are that we're actually alive.
Yeah.
That's someone who said the idea that just the chance that this egg and this sperm went in there and created you is 1 to billion, right? Yeah. And also like how many other things could happen as natural selection, diseases, all that kind of shit. And then we healthy, we can move, we can dance, we can do all this stuff. So shut up and be happy for what you got and go with it, Yeah. It's an interesting existing question. No, what's the word? Existential. When someone exists, and then oh god,
existential.
Existential. Yes, that's the word.
See, I'm dyslexic, but I don't have to say a big long word. I wouldn't know how to spell it.
English is my third language, so shut up.
Yeah,
I'm way better than you.
Yeah, you are.
In so many ways. Okay, sidetrack there, but that's it's very interesting what you're mentioning, and cool. I think would be so. And your siblings, the ones you grew up, they were actually your parents' kids, or they were also adopted?
So my sister is a natural parent because my parents actually adopted because they were told they couldn't have kids.
Right.
So my brother and myself and my brother were adopted,
Right.
and then.
Surprise,
As
surprise.
if by magic, surprise, surprise. Then my sister pops up, literally. And I remember me and my brother, we were like still young at the time. We were like going, no girls here. No girl. We didn't want a girl. But we love our sister very much.
And your brother, doesn't know anything about his...
No, he doesn't. No.
He doesn't?
Yeah.
Not even as much as you did?
Yeah. No.
Shit.
Yeah.
And does he have similar feelings like you have about this?
I don't know.
You guys don't talk about it?
No.
Why not?
Because we're not that close.
Really?
Yeah.
And that was like since you were kids, or just when you got older?
Since I got older, after my mum passed.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's leave that for the next podcast. But now, movies. The last thing what we want to talk about today, and the movies were they're here. Movies, Titanic, oh my God, Spectre, and The Martian. Out of all of those, I just want to talk about Martian.
Okay.
Because I love that movie. I watched it so many times.
Yeah.
Who haven't seen that movie, and for me, it's about this kind of this weird of like how he called himself as a Columbus of botanist, like botanist Columbus, like the first one. And he's because if you the first person who grows anything here, you can claim the land.
Yeah,
that was the kind of
so
thing.
he was a pirate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a space pirate.
Yeah.
That's what he called himself.
Yeah.
I just like the whole concept, just be that first. And since I'm very young, I really always like this idea, be a first in something, right? And I am still the first Latvian British stunt register stunt guy. I was the first Latvian who was on Dream Boys, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like just... And it's not like I'm like walking around and telling anyone how I just did, by the way. But it's just the idea like that you can be that original, and you're lucky enough and you can go just like, I'm the first one, you know?
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. So why you like the movie?
I just like the whole concept of it literally being sense of abandonment, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah. You have that camaraderie of people who you love and you work with, and you're obviously doing something that you absolutely love. You wouldn't have gone all that way to not do something that you loved. And whether it's botany or not, he was a part of the first team to Mars.
Yeah.
To be that far, and with the mishap that happened with the storm and everything like that, and obviously his colleagues thought
He's dead.
he was perished and gone.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And just by the miracle and universal, I just thought it was very cleverly written.
Yeah.
Fantastically acted. Any sort of movie that has a very, very small cast and the intimacy of that, it doesn't matter about the effects and everything like that, but the intimacy of good acting and good storytelling is just as emotional, invigorating than seeing Gladiator, which was an true epic of all proportion. So the styles of movies that I loved to watch, it can be action like Spectre, or it could be something as just more the message within that movie alone, just of friendship, of humanity, of loneliness, of just pure determination and courage in yourself to keep living, to keep breathing, and to thankfully be returned.
Yeah, no matter what, it's like there's no guarantee. There was a very small guarantee that he's going to get back and survive. He might die, but he was fighting till the end.
Yeah, and even when you had, the head of NASA was like at first like, well, no, we're not going to save him. Don't be so silly. And we're not going to do this, and we can't save him, and blah, blah, blah. You just feel that potentially that could truly happen. It's like, no. This is our funding cycle. No, of course we're not going to do this. I know there's movie magic and there's creative licensing and all this lot, but I thought it was done in such a very, very good way. Yeah.
Really, yeah. And then when you said about the movies, like, you know, such a small cast, in the end of the day, the cast wasn't that small, actually.
No.
Was pretty fucking big.
No.
Like, the main character was whatever.
Yeah.
But a small cast, if you like, have you seen the one with Jennifer Lawrence when she also in a space?
Yes, Passengers.
Yeah, Passengers.
So that was going to be my... so it was
Really?
Yeah, it was either Passengers with the three of them. Well, four. There's actually five. No, there may be a little bit more than five, but there's
Passengers.
5 main characters, I think.
Well, I think there are 3 main characters.
Well, because you've obviously got the bartender.
Yeah, that bartender is, you know,
and then obviously, Jennifer and
what's the guy's name?
Chris. Yeah.
Chris. What's his last name?
I've gone blank.
Oh my God. Chris from The Office.
Yeah.
Chris from the Galaxy.
And
something.
and
Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, but like in that movie, that idea, I was just like going back and forth. What would I do? I was thinking if I would be Chris Pratt, who is sitting this now, the ship is going to fly for another like 60, 70 years to whatever get to that destination. Would I wake up this hot chick? I would definitely would.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely would, because just the idea that you will live there for this whole time and it's like, fuck it, just gonna be by myself, whatever. Or I fuck someone else's life up, but I'm not gonna be alone. And this almost represents like people when they start dating or get married.
Yeah.
I'm most likely gonna fuck up her life, but yeah. But that's, and when you get married with someone, it's their choice. In this case, she didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because this dick made that choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they did live a long life.
Did they?
Yeah. Because at the end of it, they have the tree at the end.
Yeah.
And, the captain does wake up.
Oh, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Who was the guy who they woke up? The guy.
Yeah, the
Morpheus.
Yeah.
That's the Morpheus, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I was just working with Morpheus.
Oh, really?
On The Witcher. He was right next to me. And I was just like, so tempted to ask like blue pill or red pill. It was funny to see him, like, you know, he's quite developed age now, and but yeah, still that voice, everything is the same.
Yeah.
He is playing a cheesy vampire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Listen, we're almost done with all this. This has been really cool. I hope people are going to learn something more about ice skating and about, you know, your sorry life story. And
sorry, heart on sleeve.
No, it's all good. Cool. These, you know, life stories is good. So everyone else can now listen to your story and they think, oh, they got it so much better. The last thing that I ask my guests, tell me, I call it the bomb of wisdom.
Okay.
What is going to be your bomb of wisdom? And this could be directed to a young version of you. What would you suggest? Like, if you like travel in time and you all of a sudden you see young Jon, just like discovered maybe the freaking ice skating or whatever, what would you say to them? Or also you can look at it like just what would you say to young people?
I would say to young people, or even to my younger self, I suppose, I would say to younger people, whatever you're going through in life, or whatever you believe you're going through in life, if you feel you're alone, you're not. There are probably many people that you don't realize truly love you, but they do love you for who you are, and they genuinely want the best for you. If you have those moments where you feel alone and sad, find something that's going to make you happy, whether it's a funny movie, whether it's a piece of music, whether it's a comedy, whether you just go out and have a dance, whatever it is, do something that makes you happy. That sad time will fade quite quickly if you can change that mindset. It's difficult to change that mindset, but you once you know you're in a place that you need to change the mindset, change it.
Nice one. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thanks for having you here.
No,
thanks for having me here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hey, that was awesome. Okay. And the last one, we do a little dance. Come on. You got it? It's the shitty track I got. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Do some ice skating. Come on.
Play that funky music,
my boy. Play it. It's not even that. Is
No,
it?
but it has that vibe.
Oh, okay.
Blah, blah, blah. RENARS PODCAST.